Alright, how's it going everybody? I'm BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. So, we are on ALGO, we need to be on the total for the daily, so we'll hop over there. Over on the total, we are bouncing off our neckline possibility, so this could be positive, but we did get stopped out by that 674 level, so I would still exercise caution. We want to break and hold above that level if we're going to be prevented from dropping lower. Over on our stochastic, remember this is on our market server B. We have our market server B edits and market server A free version. These are the free versions in TradingView, which is free, just like this information. So we have our stochastic, our double line. That orange is coming down with the blue. That does have a bearish cross when that orange is above the blue. RSI is pulling back that red line, so as that stochastic drops down, our RSI will weaken as well, and that can bring price action lower, as that shows if your asset is overbought or oversold, and if it's coming down from being overbought, then you are likely going to continue lower. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, momentum is dropping down, money flow is starting to break away, so if that VWAP remains bearish here, momentum will break and money flow will flip back into the red. So I would watch the lower time frames. If they favor more bearish, we likely will push lower. Over on the 4 hour here, we are trying to solidify a bounce, so this does look positive. Our side does want to push up, stochastic is gaining strength. We do have that blue above the orange. Our VWAP is trying to favor bullish, but it's kind of riding just above that neutral, so I would watch. If that VWAP does break down from here, our momentum will roll over and money flow would break down. That would then cause the daily to flip into that red. Over on the 2 hour here, our stochastic is starting to round away. We do have that orange getting above the blue on that stochastic, so that is that bearish cross. Remember, orange being above blue does bring RSI lower if it continues, so I would watch, as if that RSI does break, price action will break with it. Our VWAP, that yellow wave, does want to round away, so I would watch, as that is causing our momentum to kind of pull back. That momentum, our blue wave, was trying to break bullish, but now it's kind of struggling. So if it continues to round away with that yellow wave, we will see our green wave become red, that money flow, and then we can have money coming out of the asset more than in, thus money flow. If money is flowing out, we're selling red. If money is flowing in, we're green, buying. Momentum is pushing up here, but our VWAP does have lower highs with lower lows, so I would watch that VWAP on this 1 hour could end up breaking that momentum lower and causing the money flow to reject, which would in turn weaken those higher time frames and cause them to flip more bearish and give us that bearish breakdown scenario. So I would watch. If we cannot break that 674 level and push for a higher high, we will have lower highs with lower lows, and that will be a bit of a bearish channel. And remember, as these highs and lows don't connect very well, that is not a descending channel, so a bearish consolidation channel can end up breaking you down and continuing you lower, where that descending channel, where they're more in line together, can help push you forward. Remember, we cover that in the Mastering the Trade series, that playlist that we have, so I suggest you watch. Each video is only 5 minutes. Over on Bitcoin dominance for the daily, we are seeing a bit of a pullback. We do have a reversal arrow, so I would exercise caution. This coming at the top of this channel could signal we may drop and fill that gap below us. Now, if we can hold above that, then dominance could continue forward. Stochastic does want to roll away. RSI is starting to pull back. That momentum is rounding off, as that VWAP does want to pull back, but currently the VWAP is trying to favor bullish. So watch if that can maintain on lower time frames. If it can, that will push momentum and money flow higher, giving dominance strength. But remember, dominance is just representative of Bitcoin versus altcoins or stablecoins, so it doesn't necessarily mean too much. So over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we pretty much just opened up trading not that long ago. Not very much to unpack on the lower time frames because it doesn't trade as much on the weekends. We did push down toward the top of this channel. What we want to watch is if we get that push forward. Remember, we said last night, if we do get that push forward, that can still give us that retest and a bounce, and then that'll give us that ideal move forward where you would want to trade. Again, visit that short from last night. It'll have that clip in there for you. Stochastic does want to pull back. Momentum is rounding away. VWAP is getting a breakdown, so watch. We do have lower highs. If we make lower lows here, momentum will continue to weaken and money flow would break down. That would invalidate that bullish possibility and push us lower. Over on the 4 hour, like I said, this candle just started, so we did get this long lower shadow. We want this to be followed by a strong green candle to push us up. momentum does have bearish divergence. VWAP has lower highs with lower lows, causing momentum to pull back, and that money flow is bearish as a result. So again, exercise caution. We will jump to Bitcoin and we'll cover all the time frames here because it was trading all day. So over on Bitcoin, we are pushing up. We are trying to break away from this flag possibility, so that could be positive, but I would watch. Just because we broke up doesn't mean we're automatically going to run up. Remember, whales can try to manipulate things, so we will look at the lower time frames and then make our determination if we will delete this. Our stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is starting to weaken. Momentum does have bearish divergence as price is getting consistent highs and momentum is getting lower highs, so that creates a bit of a spread out, and that spread out typically dumps you down. Stochastic does want to drop down. RSI is weakening. VWAP is pushing back into the bearish territory, so watch the lower time frames. If they start to continue to favor bearish, we could see the daily breakdown. Over on this 4-hour, we are trying to run up. We are pulling back to the top of our channel. This is where you want to see that bounce and a run up. If we can make this bounce and push forward, then we could see the bulls gain some strength. Excuse me real quick. So stochastic does want to push up. We do have that blue above orange, so that does have that bullish cross. That's causing our side to push up. Price action is following. Momentum does want to gain strength, and our VWAP is in the bullish territory. If that VWAP can sustain in the bullish territory, momentum will continue further, and money flow could break higher. Just getting over, almost done being sick here, feels like, so hopefully not too much longer. But over on the 2-hour, stochastic does want to round away. We do have that orange above blue. RSI is pulling back. Momentum does want to round, and our VWAP is starting to push down. Watch that VWAP here, because if it continues lower, momentum will start to round away, and that money flow could break down, weakening those higher time frames. Over on the 1-hour here, stochastic is starting to pull back. Momentum is rounding away, RSI is starting to drop, and the VWAP is breaking bearish. If that VWAP continues lower, momentum will continue to pull back, money flow will weaken, and that would weaken those higher time frames. Watch if we can continue to consolidate after this breakup, because that could create a mini bull flag above our bear flag to help push us forward. And if we can stay above these EMA bands without breaking that 300 EMA, then we do have that chance to continue forward still. So over on graph for the daily, we are starting to round away a little bit here. Sorry about that. So RSI is pulling back, stochastic is starting to drop down, VWAP is in the bearish territory, momentum is dropping down, and the money flow is favoring bearish. So if that VWAP continues with these consistent lows and lower highs, momentum will continue lower, and that money flow could continue to break down. Sorry, I had to make sure my print was sticking well to the bed. Over on the 4-hour here, we do have a bit of consolidation after trying to get a little bit of a run up. That could create a mini bull flag, but I wouldn't really trade on that. Overall, to me, this does look like more bearish momentum, and if we cannot break and hold this EMA, then we could just stair-step our way back down again. Stochastic does want to push up, though. VWAP is favoring bullish, momentum's trying to push forward. RSI does want to push up, so if that VWAP can gain some more strength on the lower time frames, we could run up here. However, if that VWAP starts to weaken, it's likely we're going to reject and push lower. Over on the 2-hour, we are trying to break that blue EMA. We do need to break and hold that EMA. Otherwise, if we cannot break that, it's very likely we would fall below that green R5 EMA. If we cannot hold above both these EMAs, we would have a rejection. That rejection would cause more bearish pressure that would push us lower. Stochastic does want to pull back, RSI is rounding away, VWAP does want to break down, momentum is rounding, and the money flow is bearish. So if that VWAP continues to break, momentum will continue to round out, and that money flow will remain bearish. Over on the 1-hour here, we are trying to get a bit of a run up, so I would exercise caution because these highs and lows are connecting pretty decently. Right here, you could draw that. So that would be a rising channel, and a rising channel does sound good, but if you've watched the Master in the Trade, you know it would not push you up, it would break you down, and it would push you to that 26084. Our momentum does want to round away. Stochastic is trying to remain bullish here, so if that stochastic can remain bullish, we could see a break forward, but I would just watch that VWAP close, as that VWAP is trying to break down. If we can get this higher low and then push for a higher high or consistent high, momentum could remain bullish and money flow could gain strength. However, if that VWAP breaks down here and rejects that neutral and gets a lower low, We could get lower lows with lower highs. That would cause momentum to pull back. Money flow would then remain bearish, and that would cause us to see that break down. Over on Ankr for the daily, we did push up to our 40.49, but we were not able to hold. So we did see a breakdown. We did break to our 37.67 if you haven't watched. So we did warn of that several days ago. Excuse me again. So we did warn of that. We do have a, long upper shadow candle. A long upper shadow candle shows that the bulls tried to break that resistance area, but the bears are trying to suppress us. So if the bears can continue to drop us down, we may break that value area low. The indicator stochastic is dropping down. RSI is starting to fall. That VWAP is in the bearish territory. We tried to run bullish, but we got rejected. So watch if we get lower highs from here. And if we get lower highs with lower lows, momentum will continue to weaken and money flow would break down. Over on the 4-hour, we have several long upper shadow candles that tried to break that 40.49, but they were unsuccessful. So I would exercise caution because we could end up pulling back. Stochastic does want to push up. RSI is pretty flat, so watch that stochastic close. If it starts to round away, RSI likely will follow. Our VWAP is technically in the bullish territory, but it's coming back down toward that neutral, and it does want to make a retest. So if that VWAP does break down, our momentum will start to round away, that blue wave, and that will cause our green wave to pull back the money flow and potentially fall into the bearish territory. Over on the 2-hour, you can see those couple candles here. This was a bullish engulfing candle that did give us a little momentum to the upside, but we were unable to break our blue EMA. And if we cannot break that and hold, it's very likely we will round away and reject lower. Our stochastic does want to round away. It has been overbought for quite some time, so I would watch for a correction down. RSI is starting to pull back. Momentum does want to round with a red dot as that VWAP is trying to break down. So if our VWAP gets lower lows with lower highs here, momentum will break down and money flow will follow. Over on the 1-hour, we did get that bullish engulfing candle. We tried to run up to resistance and then we got rejected by a pretty strong red candle. It was not bearish engulfing candle though, but we did end up retracing most of that green candle. Stochastic is pushing down. RSI is pretty flat, but if that stochastic continues to drop down here, we will see that RSI weaken. VWAP does have lower highs, and we are starting to pull back, so if we get lower lows, momentum will break down and money flow will follow. That will in turn weaken those higher time frames and cause us to drop lower. Over on XRP for the daily, we are making a bit of a retest of our channel here. We are trying to push up, so if we can break forward and hold, then we could see a bullish run. This could try to invalidate our breakdown possibility, but RSI is pulling back, stochastic is dropping, that VWAP is favoring bearish with lower lows, momentum is dropping down, and the money flow is breaking down, so I would still watch the lower time frames. Over on the 4-hour, we are trying to get that break up, so we do look positive here. Stochastic's running up, RSI is pushing up, momentum's gaining strength due to the VWAP favoring bullish, and the money flow is making a bounce. But if the lower time frames break away, that could all be retraced. This is going to be a pretty make it or break it area. We need to break this area of that 49.9 and hold if we're going to run up. Our stochastic does want to kind of pull back here. I would exercise caution. It has been overbought for quite some time, as it did help run us up. VWAP is pushing forward, RSI is gaining strength, momentum is running up, and the money flow is bullish. But if that VWAP breaks for a lower low, that money flow could end up flipping. Over on the 1-hour here, we do have a double red dot on momentum, as that VWAP does have lower highs, and it is trying to break that zero. If we get lower lows with these lower highs, we will see momentum start to weaken, and if that continues, our money flow will reject and push lower. If that happens, then the higher time frames would break down as well. Over on ALGO for the daily, we are trying to make that bounce here on our 16.18, but again, watch if we break this, we could end up pushing down toward our 14.12. Thanks for joining us. RSI is pushing down, our stochastic is starting to round away. The VWAP does have lower lows with lower highs, momentum is pushing down, and the money flow is weakening due to that yellow wave. Our VWAP pushing down, causing our blue wave, our momentum to weaken, and that red wave is our money flow. So people are selling more than they're buying, otherwise it would be above zero and be bullish. Over on the 4-hour, we'll zoom in here. we are trying to make a push up above that EMA level. So if we can hold this and push forward, we need to break that blue EMA. Otherwise, if we struggle with the blue EMA like everything else, it could end up being a lower high and rejecting us. That VWAP is in the bullish territory. It's very weak right now though, so I would watch. You do have to stretch out quite a bit. So right now it does have a lower high. If it rounds away and breaks through that neutral, momentum will break down, we'll have a lower low, and money flow would break down as well. Over on the 2 hour, we are struggling with that blue EMA, just like we said to watch for on the 4 hour. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is starting to weaken, VWAP is pushing down, and the momentum is rounding. Our money flow is in the bearish territory, so I would watch. If that VWAP does break down and gets lower lows, momentum will break down and money flow will weaken those higher time frames. Over on the 1 hour, we did get EMA cross. Our green did cross above blue. We did try to run up to our yellow, but we hit that yellow and rejected. So that is a bit of bearish momentum. And if we see the green cross below our blue, we could see a continued sell-off. Stochastic does want to drop down. Momentum is weakening. VWAP has lower highs with lower lows, causing that momentum to drop and causing money flow to weaken. So overall, we do have bearish pressure here on the lower time frames. If they do not push up, we could see continued bearish momentum, and that could end up breaking us down. Thanks for watching tonight's video.